This particular product here works phenomenally. Hey guys, Anthony with the Rad Company, and welcome to another exciting video here at the Rad Company YouTube channel. Joining me today is Justin from KCX. Today we're gonna be talking about how water spots actually form on your vehicle's paintwork and what you can do to try to prevent that and avoid them in the first place. So what is an actual water spot? Well, we know that water is water, and water contains
minerals.
And those minerals are actually what's forming the spot itself. So water on its own, if it was in its purest form, a distilled form, isn't going to spot because there's gonna be nothing left behind to actually dry up after that spot dries, right? What we need to talk about is the quality of water in the first place. Depending on the type of water that hits your vehicle can also depend on the type of spot that's left behind. So for example, if you park next to a sprinkler, or if you park next to a grassy field and you've walked out to your car and your car is covered in water, chances are that irrigation water is loaded with mineral content. Depending on the piping, the location, any area in the country or in the world, your mineral content may vastly change. For example, you can go through and actually test out your mineral content with test strips. So you can take a test strip, you can dunk it in water, pull it out, and you can find the parts per million. The higher that number is, the harder your water is. The lower it is, the softer, or I guess you should say more pure your water is. So ideally, in terms of mineral content, if you are under 100 parts per million, you're probably in a pretty good spot, right?
It's not too bad.
But if you're hitting 200, 300, 400, 700, it's gonna be a bad time. So the next question is, why is that mineral content so hard to remove once it sets up on the surface?
Bonding to the paint. And it's etching into that paint.
It is, it is.
You know, that's what we're here to solve.
It is. So what happens is, once those water spots land on the surface, right, especially on a hot day during the summer, parked next to a sprinkler, your paint, your clear coat on your vehicle is in an expanded state. It's heated up, right? And so what happens is your pores of your paint are a little bit more open, your paint is more susceptible to certain types of staining. Well, once those water spots land on a hot surface that is expanded, those minerals will drive themselves down into hot porous paint into an area that's kind of unideal for removal. And then what happens too is your paint will actually contract again. As the sun comes off of it, or it gets parked in your garage or in the shade, that paint will cool down. And what it'll do, it'll kind of hold and seal in that mineral content, making it very, very hard to remove. And again, the longer you leave it, the more heat fluctuations that happen, especially on your car, the harder they are to remove. Depending on the location of your car, the water content that hits, you could be left with some pretty hard stuff to remove. And that's where there's different methods for removing water spots in which we've actually created videos on. And oftentimes we try to go for the easiest method to remove it before jumping into something like compounding or machine polishing. So from here, let's talk about what we can do to reduce the chances of them happening in the first place. Right off the bat, washing out in a bright, sunny, hot day. Are you more likely or less likely to have water spots?
100% more likely.
And the reason for that is that that sun is going to dry that water significantly faster than if your car was in the shade. So if the basics is just trying to find a shaded area, that's a good place that anybody can start as long as you still have access to water. Now, the next thing would be addressing the water itself. So for example, at your home, if you don't test your water and you don't care to test it, then just know that there's a chance that your own hose water could have a pretty high hardness level, and it could in fact leave some water spots behind if you do not dry them fast enough. Because again, you're kind of always working against time whenever you're doing a wash. I'm probably going to try to dry that vehicle off as soon as I can after I've finished washing it, because the water spots aren't gonna happen in your first initial rinse, especially since you're probably continuing to work. And they're not gonna happen once the soap mixture is in place as well, because the soap is actually gonna be a temporary preventative from keeping that mineral content from sticking. It's going to be in that final rinsing stage. What can you do to address the type of water that you have? So, soft water. What is soft water? Soft water is literally water that comes out of a water softener. So a water softener is more material that's put into a system that now runs through the water system in your house in the form of water softener pellets. Those pellets themselves are actually going to be negating the effects of the calcium and magnesium deposits that are going to happen, right? It's not a perfect system, but it's definitely half, at least 50% better than what it was previously. So is it safe to use on your vehicle? Absolutely. You can use soft water from a water softener on your vehicle during a wash, and it's not going to cause any issues. Now, you have a different filtration system.
It's a deionized system. I could go one step more and say I have a reverse osmosis system.
That would be pretty nice as well. When it comes to deionized water, that is going to be something, kind of an inline system that you can have. So for example, CR Spotless makes a great de'ionizer system that is an inline system that you can put with your detailing setup for your pressure washer or just your hose. And what that's going to do is use a resin bed that is going to, again, negate the effects of the calcium and magnesium and filter a lot of that out. So it's going to bring your overall TDS, right, to 0, which is pretty crazy. But the more that resin gets used, the higher that TDS is going to go, and eventually you are going to be left with some hard water. But it's going to do a miracle job at preventing water spots. Addressing the water in the first place is probably the biggest thing, and I tell people that if you feel rushed, or if you're stressed during your wash in your driveway, or if you're unsure of your water quality, then you can just address that at the source of the water itself. Soft water systems can be a little pricey. They can be a couple $1,000s, but it's for your whole home, and the maintenance on those is relatively easy. Now, a deionizer system can also be affordable, but depending on how much you're washing, you might be blowing through quite a bit of resin. So if you are a detail shop, then just estimate that you're going to be going through quite a bit of resin per month. But if you're a home hobbyist, one batch of resin should last you probably almost the full year. And that's like washing weekly, maybe multiple cars. And it's also going to depend on your overall hardness of your water, right? Now that we've talked about washing in the shade, we've talked about actually treating your water in the first place, which does sound a little bit expensive. Let's talk about a more cost-efficient way that will, again, reduce the chances of water spotting, but it may change your overall washing process. Behold, Justin, what is this miracle in a bottle that I'm holding?
This is our rapid rinseless wash. So extremely cost effective, extremely dilutable. And what this product's gonna do is gonna encapsulate those minerals, calcium, the magnesium, and really help you not get those water spots on your vehicle.
It's going to basically increase your overall working time, and rinseless washing is different than soap and water washing in terms of using running water and a hose. You're still going through the same process of cleaning your vehicle. You're now just doing it with this product in place of a soap and in place of running water. So you are actually really not even dipping into that hose other than filling the bucket or filling like a pre-sprayer with this product here. And so the second that you dilute this product right here at 256:1, which is actually quite literally 1 capful of this per gallon, this product is immediately going to bond with that water and start negating the effects of the calcium and magnesium. So I could actually take this product in a diluted form, spray it onto a surface and let it dry. And what I'm going to be finding is that that mineral content is going to be significantly easier to remove than standard hard water alone. So you're now left with more of a polymer or surfactant spot rather than a hard water spot. And if a panel dries or if those spots start drying, you just go back over it with more of the wet product and it will remove that mineral content. Now, if you're not a fan of rinseless washing and you say, I will never, Anthony, I can't do it, just can't do it, I would rather risk the hard water. Okay, well, let's talk about how you can use hard water at home, out of the hose, and use an additional product to minimize the effects of water spotting during the drying process. Next up on our list is another product that can make things pretty affordable, and it'll still let you have your cake and eat it too, right? What is this?
This is actually one of our newest products, wet gloss. So wet gloss is actually a touchless wet applied sealant. You're simply just gonna spray it on a wet panel after you get done washing the vehicle. And before you dry it off, spray it on. And then that water behavior is gonna immediately encapsulate all the mineral deposits, and all the water will start running down your paint.
Okay, nice.
You grab your towel and just dry off the product from the car. You're not only decreasing your water spots, you're increasing your gloss and protection on your paint.
If you have hard water sitting on a surface and you've just finished rinsing your vehicle, and let's just say you are working in direct sunlight, if you add an additional product sprayed on over the top of that hard water, there's a good chance that there's going to be an additional encapsulation process and or an additional effect of having something that is going to attach itself to that water and soften it. So you're changing the surface tension, you are adding something extra onto the water that is not just pure hard water, and now you are drying it effortlessly in a much quicker fashion. With wet gloss here, you can spray this on, and then you can can actually re-rinse it if you want to and then dry the vehicle, or you can spray this on a wet vehicle and then simply dry it and use it as a drying aid. I would not spray the whole vehicle down in this and then go and try to dry it as fast as possible. I'd probably work a panel at a time, especially if you're in direct sunlight, but if you're in the shade, spray it down on the whole vehicle and then just go and dry it and you're gonna be fine. You will not be left with water spots in that process. It's just not really physically possible in all of the testing that we've done here. I've never seen it happen. That brings me to my next thing. If those water spots have dried, but have dried in a quick manner and they have not yet etched the clear coat, meaning that that paint hasn't contracted and expanded and contracted and expanded and those water spots are fresh, what's an easy way to address those that's quick and on the fly? One of my favorite products from the KCX line, and actually one of the things that made me want to make this video in the first place because I think it needs to be talked about. What is this stuff?
Finish Spray Exterior. Now there's one thing special about this product, and that is it has a lime scale remover in the product.
There's been some other types of quick detailer products out there that have contained something with a little bit of vinegar in it and whatnot to help remove some water spots. They work okay. This particular product here works phenomenally. I mean, it really is probably one of the best solutions out there for quick, on-the-fly water spot cleaning. This right here is for the water spot that formed yesterday. This is for the water spot that formed today. This is for the water spots that happened in your door jambs as you forgot to wipe those out, right? Now, this isn't just a quick water spot remover. This is also gonna have some quick detailing effects in there as well. So this is gonna be able to remove some light dust. It's gonna be able to remove just a little bit of dirt, right? And clean that surface, but also leave behind a little bit of gloss and the slightest, I mean the slightest amount of protection. It's not gonna be a ton, but it's gonna leave behind something. So this right here is kind of an all-in-one water spot quick detailer, leave a shiny surface behind, but which makes it so perfect for when your vehicle does get hit in an unfortunate situation, because now you're not just taking a full-on water spot remover to a dusty car, you're actually taking a cleaner and water spot remover to a dusty car. So that is going to kind of bring us to a conclusion here on all the different ways to prevent water spots. Just remember, it's environment and it's the quality of the water. Justin, thank you so much for joining me today.
Sure, man.
Thank you for bringing all the goodies and all the products, and hopefully everybody learns something new. So as always, if you guys love the detailing content, please make sure you give us a big thumbs up, subscribe down below for more, and stay tuned for more videos right here at The Rat Company.